I'm Paul E. Stephenson.
Tell me about when you were born, the year, where you were born, and where you lived when you were growing up.
I was born 10th of May, 1927, over at the home place on Smith Creek. That's, if anybody's around that knows Charles Orner's, about a mile up where the White Barn is. Sam Fox has school buses there. And I was born in the house. Probably cost a couple chickens to have me born there. Probably Dr. Scott was probably the doctor that would help deliver. But Aunt Mary, I did say that in something, Aunt Mary and Aunt Dawn, Aunt Mary Lemley and Aunt Dawn Tennant, they was the midwives that attended Mom.
Tell how you first heard about World War II and how old were you then?
Well, probably about a freshman in high school, and by the radio, and you didn't listen to the radio all day. You listened to the news when you come home at 5:30 or something like that. Lowell Thomas was on. He was the war correspondent.
Tell me about your experiences in the war, when you went, what your duties were, and anything you remember.
Well, I enlisted in May the 10th. That was my birthday. That was at 18. And I left on June the 7th. That was the day it was over with Germany. And I got my boot leave from Sampson, New York on August the 24th, I think it was. And that was when it was over with Japan. They heard it was a-coming, so they decided to give up. And I can remember when I'd never been away from home. It was, farm boys, never away. And took me into Pittsburgh, and got on train and went to Sampson, New York. And it was dirty from the train and hungry and scared. It wasn't a very pleasant day or two. I made out all right there.
Where all did you travel to?
Well, I took my boot camp at Sampson, New York, and then went to San Diego. We come down the southern route was out, and it was like boxcars in there, and it wasn't the best in the world. And we had to stop every time another train was coming. They had priority, so we had to sit on the siding until they got by. Then I went from there, got a ship, and went to Saipan. And was down there for a couple months. We come back through to Seattle, Washington, Bremerton, Washington, and that's where we decommissioned the ship there, and the Buras. Then I went aboard the AKA 84. We decommissioned it, and then I went down to San Francisco and I forget now the ship there. I caught down to Pearl Harbor, and I was down there, and I cleaned the chief quarters on Ford Island, and it was just a little ways down to, what was the Arkansas, the one that the battleship that made the museum of, is down there. It was just a little ways down from our barracks in there. Spent the time there, and I think I was there for 4 months. That was real hard duty. I can remember I took care of the chief's quarters, and you'd get ready for inspection on Saturday morning. Get it all cleaned up on Friday. And most of the time, they would have a party Friday night. And the beer that they got, it was packed in sawdust. Well, they didn't bother to take it out of the sawdust or put it in like that. Just put the whole case in like that, and then the next morning, there was sawdust all over everything.
So you were very busy cleaning.
Well, that kept you out of trouble, then one thing and another. Then from that, I come back to San Diego, and I remember getting back there, we had fresh fruit, and well, down at Pearl Harbor, we had fruit, pineapple. It's pineapple seed. Everything you had, and any way they could make pineapple, it was up and out of pineapple. That's what you ate. But we got to come back to the States, to San Diego, and got some fresh milk and homemade bread. That was, and we had good meals there, and got trained, come back to Bainbridge, Maryland. That's where I got my discharge from. And I was one of the lucky ones that I only spent about 15 months in the service.
You know that name?
Yeah, I don't know what you call it though.
John Brown's a hanging on the sour apple tree is what we always call it. What do you call it?
That's it.